Good evening, Council. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. And I'd also like to recognize the press, staff, television viewers, and online viewers in Blind River. As we begin this evening's meeting, we take time to acknowledge and to recognize, though we are gathered virtually, we are here today as a community on Robinson Huron territory. The land upon which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, and Métis people. As we continue to learn and respect the past relationships with our Indigenous communities, we thank them for allowing us to work together in our communities and look forward to further strengthening these bonds in the spirit of reconciliation. Prior to beginning this evening's agenda, I would ask each councillor who is present via this video conferencing to answer the roll call when I call your name. Deputy Mayor Summers?
Present.
Councillor B. Dunbar?
Present.
Councillor J. Dunbar?
Present.
Councillor Wells?
Present.
Councillor Roy? Councillor Posterero?
Present.
May 16th to 22nd is National Public Works Week. In addition to the motion that is part of tonight's agenda, I would like to acknowledge the Town of Blind River Public Works team. This crew of dedicated individuals get up in the wee hours of the morning and they work evenings and weekends when required. They are the backbone of our community, ensuring that we all live, work, and play in a safe environment. On behalf of Blind River Town Council, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to you, Mark Bender, and your Public Works team for your dedication and for your helpfulness. Thank you. Now, without further ado, turning to tonight's agenda, I have a motion from Councillor Roy, seconded by Deputy Mayor Summers. Be it resolved that the council approve the agenda as presented. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. And I have a motion from Councillor B. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Wells. Be it resolved that council adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of May 3rd, 2021, and the minutes of the public council meeting, May 3rd, 2021, as presented. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. And are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing no hands going up, I would assume that there are none. Thank you. Are there any issues or anything that you wish to come forward as a result of the last minutes? And seeing no hands, I have no public presentations tonight. So we're moving on to number 9, introduction and consideration of administration reports. From the Director of Facilities and Community Services, read the Jays Care Foundation Field of Dreams. I have a motion from Councillor J. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Posterero. Be it resolved that Council accepts the Jays Care Foundation Field of Dreams report as presented by the Director of Facilities and Community Services. Are there any questions for Ms. Bittner? Seeing none, all in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. And from our treasurer, we have the final 2020 reserve transfers. I have a motion from Councillor Wells, seconded by Deputy Mayor Summers. Be it resolved that council approve the transfers to the reserves and to the library for its reserve fund as per the memorandum of understanding as presented. Questions? All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you. I have nothing under service delivery status, nor do I have any presentation of committee reports or unfinished business. So we're moving on to 12.1, the Director of Facilities and Community Services, Rita B. Jensen Memorial Gazebo. And it is moved by Councillor J. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Whereas the town of Blind River has accepted the Blind River Rotary Club fundraising efforts to establish a memorial gazebo at Sellers Park, and that COVID-19 has placed significant challenges on service clubs and volunteer organizations. And that council accepts the following volunteers to build the B. Judson Memorial Gazebo located at Sellers Beach: Kyle McLeod, Aaron McLeod, Frank Francoeur, Jeff Francoeur, Pat Bennon, Tony Hepler, Rick Gregory, Nathan McLeod, Travis McLeod, Trevor McLeod, Jimmy Tulloch, and that the town of Blind River is a project manager. As such, all volunteers listed within this resolution are not responsible for the future maintenance or costs associated with maintaining the B. Judson Memorial Gazebo, and that all workplace safety protocols, including those implemented by public health, as well as the province of Ontario, be adhered to at the time of construction. Questions, discussion? Councillor Jay Dunbar?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just curious as to whether or not we wouldn't be liable for any insurance problems or any accidents on the project, would we?
And Ms. Bittner is here to answer your questions.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Dunbar. That's why we're passing this resolution. So these volunteers are covered under our insurance, which is the standard flow for any volunteers such as our beautification group and past practice with community events. We enter into a volunteer relationship with these folks to keep them safe. So if your question is the town liable? Of course, but that's nothing new to the town or any other municipality when you undertake a volunteer project.
And are there any other questions for Ms. Bittner? Seeing none, all in favor of this motion? And that is passed. Thank you. And we have under correspondence requiring action, May 7th, Grey Highlands had written us a letter with asking for support, 3-digit crisis and suicide prevention hotline. I have a motion from Councillor Roy, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Whereas the federal government passed a motion to adopt 988, a national 3-digit suicide and crisis hotline initiative. And whereas council recognizes that this is a significant and important initiative to ensure barriers are removed for those in crisis seeking immediate assistance, therefore be it resolved that council support the municipality of Grey Highlands in their request that 988, a national 3-digit suicide and crisis hotline initiative, proceed expeditiously to assist those in need, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to MP Carol Hughes and MPP Michael Mantha and the municipality of Grey Highlands. Discussion? All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. And as mentioned earlier, we have National Public Works Week 2021. I have a motion from Councillor Jay Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Roy, whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Ontario. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Ontario to gain knowledge and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2021 marks the 61st annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Therefore, be it resolved that Council proclaim the week of May 16th to 22nd, 2021 as National Public Works Week in Blind River. Discussion. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. And for information, on May 3rd, the Attorney General sent us a letter with liquor licensing measures. Are there any questions on this correspondence? Seeing none. We also received a letter from Carol Hughes with regards to court services. Are there any questions on this letter? Seeing none. We have no notices of motion. So moving on to consideration of bylaws, we have bylaw 2127, the agreement for the Jays Care Foundation at the Town Park. This was moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Whereas council is appreciative of the Jays Care Foundation recognizing Blind River's submission of Stay, Play, and Live Blind River, and that the Jays Care Foundation Field of Dreams funding will support active locals of all ages, specifically youth. Therefore, be it resolved that council authorize the mayor and CAO clerk to sign bylaw 21-27, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with Jays Care Foundation to update Town Park's Ball Diamond, was passed in open council this 17th day of May, 2021. All in favor? And that's carried. And we're all excited about that one for sure. And 16.2 bylaw 2128 is an amendment to bylaw 20-49 on municipal user fees. This is moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Posterero. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor and CAO clerk to sign bylaw 21-28, being a bylaw of the corporation of the town of Blind River to amend bylaw 20-49 for the establishment of user fees for municipal services for 2021, was passed in open council this 15th day of March, 2021. All in favor of this bylaw? And that is carried. Thank you. And we have no council reports or announcements. We have no addendum and we have no closed session tonight. So we are moving on to number 21, confirming the bylaw. This is moved by Deputy Mayor Summers, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor and CAO clerk to sign bylaw 21-29, being a bylaw of the corporation of the town of Blind River, to adopt the minutes of the meeting of May 17th, 2021, was passed in open council the 17th day of May, 2021. All in favor? And that is carried. This is going to be the shortest council meeting that I have ever attended. My goodness. Okay, so last but not least, moved by Councillor Posterero, seconded by Councillor Roy, be it resolved that council adjourn at 7:13 p.m. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you, council. You can get out and enjoy the sunshine. Have a great evening.